I love Walt Disney World. Going there is definitely a wonderful, magical experience no matter which park you're in. It truly is the most magical place on earth to me. That said, as someone who has gone several times throughout her life, I can tell you that I have some opinions on the most magical place on earth that aren't so magical. Hey y'all, I'm the Geek Apprentice, and no, this isn't unpopular opinions about Disney. I already have a video about that. This is my unpopular opinions about Walt Disney World, the one in Orlando, Florida. As with all of my unpopular opinion videos, I try to keep these as positive as possible because they are just opinions. More specifically, definition 2 of opinion, and that is just personal taste or preference. Some of these opinions may not be that shocking either because they're not as unpopular as I'm thinking, or if you know how I am, makes sense that I would feel that way, while other unpopular opinions of mine, well, they might make some Disney fanatics go nuts. So let's get to it. The first unpopular opinion I have about Walt Disney World, and this probably goes for any park really, is that I think Dole Whips are disgusting. I get it, they're a big deal to a lot of people. They're some classic Disney World thing, but for me, when it comes to sweets, I want chocolate, not fruity, tart, whatever that thing is. I just don't like it. I'm a pretty picky eater, and Disney World's the one time I'll let myself kind of just eat anything, because other than that, I'm pretty strict with what I eat. And yeah, I find them disgusting. Like, if I'm gonna be eating like a glutton at Disney World, it's not gonna be with Dole Whips. Ugh. My second unpopular opinion, which might really shock some people, is that I couldn't care less about Pandora. I know, Avatar was a huge deal to a lot of people, and I get it. There was great graphics, but I just didn't care for it, and thus I don't really care about the park either. Now, don't get me wrong, it's very well done and it's extremely cool looking, especially when people, usually my friend Jonathan, shout out to you, explains to me what things are from what parts of the movie, because frankly, I don't remember it because I didn't care. And there's no denying Flight of Passage is probably one of my favorite rides of all the parks just because it was so well done. Imagine if it was for something that I did care about. I'm looking at you, Universal Studios. You got a park. I may not go to it all the time, but you know, DreamWorks, How to Train Your Dragon. Perfect opportunity to make a copycat, but make it better because it's How to Train Your Dragon. Just saying. And honestly, piggybacking on this unpopular opinion, you could say I don't care about Galaxy's Edge because I don't care about Star Wars. I would say I'm sorry, but it's just an opinion, so who cares? You're allowed to like it, I'm allowed to not like it. My third unpopular opinion about Walt Disney World, and again, this is another one that probably goes for any of the parks, it is not worth any of your money probably about 8 months of the year. Disney World is expensive. There's no denying that. And I understand why it's expensive, although some of the recent price increases have been really ridiculous. But I'm just saying, it's not worth your money. It's really not most of the year. And here's why. Florida is stupid. That's right. I said it. As someone who has lived here for almost 20 years, I can tell you, you will get dehydrated. You will be miserable 8 months of the year. I get it, some people like heat, but I'm sorry, do you actually enjoy sweating your butt off most of the time that you're there when it's not raining with 100% humidity? There's nothing fun about that. What are those 8 months? Well, it's really 9 months actually. The second half of March is not worth it because it's spring breakers. Don't bother. Then, from the month of April all the way through mid-October, it is average 90 plus degrees with a heat index exceeding that, usually plus 100, and 100% humidity, and rains every afternoon. Why would you waste your money on that? Don't do it. Oh, and not to mention, most of December is a bunch of, what are they called, snowbirds that come down and they're like, oh yay, it's so warm. Yeah, it's warm in December. It's not fun. It's gross, and it's super crowded. However, on a positive note, Disney is very much worth it during the second half of October / early November, and then January and February, because not as many people are there, and it's a lot cooler outside. Like, a lot cooler. It can get cold, and I would rather that. Now, this is also coming from someone who absolutely despises heat. I cannot stand it. I want all 4 seasons. but that's just me. And some of you might be thinking, haven't you gone to Disney in the summer before? Yeah, but I didn't pay for it. Look, when you have an awesome friend who also happens to work at Disney and invites you to Orlando and you get a free ticket into Disney World to hang out with him for the day, yeah, you're gonna go. Because what do I pay for? Gas and food and souvenir if I want to. But in any normal situation, I would never pay $100+ to spend the entire day outside in Florida. Again, it's not just, oh, it's warm in Florida. It's hot. It's unbearable, especially when you consider the humidity. So, in my unpopular opinion, Disney World most of the year is not worth your money simply because of the heat and humidity. You're just going to be miserable. Don't do it. Okay, I think I need to calm down after that one. I know some people like the heat. They're crazy, but blech. My fourth unpopular opinion is that the ride in Magic Kingdom Carousel of Progress is actually a great ride. Now, maybe this is a little bit of a misnomer. I mean, it's a great ride when you're going in the middle of summer, which, as we've just clarified, is not worth it unless you're getting a free ticket. The line is pretty much non-existent. You just sit down and watch this old school ride that Walt Disney actually had a hand in himself, which is really cool. And it's full of AC, glorious AC. My friends and I can attest that there have been many times where we've gone to Walt Disney World in the heat of summer or fall/spring, because it's essentially all summer when you're in Florida. Not fun. There's not even a breeze. It's terrible. But you get really hot. And so you just ride Carousel of Progress multiple times because you're exhausted. Sure, we would all love to ride Splash Mountain instead because you get wet, which is fun. But the line for that, you'll get dehydrated waiting. My fifth unpopular opinion is that the restaurant Casey's Corner in Magic Kingdom is nowhere near as good as it used to be. I love Casey's Corner. I love the food. It's just great. I love the theming. I like baseball. It's really nice, but it used to be way better. The first time I ever went to Casey's Corner, I was probably about 13 years old. And at that time, there were these like baseball riser benches, and there was a big TV screen that played old school classic black and white Disney shows. It was so cute and so cool. Now, it's gone. They got rid of it years ago, and I was so disappointed. I mean, there's already not a lot of seating in there, so they should have at least left that because that was a fun part. It's still my go-to whenever I want to eat Magic Kingdom though, because those little mini corn dogs are just delicious. And my last unpopular opinion is that I have no interest in riding the Frozen ride because it's just a rehash of pretty much like 5 other rides. I've clarified this before. I did enjoy the movie of Frozen. It wasn't nowhere near as good as everyone hyped it up to be, but it is a good film. I enjoy it. That said, did it really deserve a ride? No. And it's just another one of those rides where you get in a seat and it shows you pretty much the whole film and maybe some of the shorts or something, you know, like Winnie the Pooh and Peter Pan and The Little Mermaid and a bunch of others. It's just a rehash of that same concept. I mean, yeah, money-wise, it was smart on Disney's part to do that, but I could go my whole life without riding it. I don't care. And I won't lie, some of this is saltiness because, you know, the movie Tangled, the one that's responsible for bringing Disney out of its animation funk after the Renaissance? Yeah, that one, the really good one. What did it get? A restroom area. If that's not a huge slap in the face, I don't know what is. But again, that's bias. Okay, I know all of you guys are probably having to wash your mouth out from all of the salt I just dropped on you guys, but really, I do love Walt Disney World. I do. I just have some unpopular opinions about it, and obviously, if I get the chance to go, I'm gonna go. It's a wonderful time, and I do love it. And I'm sure I'm not alone in many of these opinions, as well as I'm sure there are plenty of unpopular opinions that others have that would shock me. I really could go on forever about how much I love Walt Disney World and how it really is a world, how big it is and how massive it is. But we're all gonna have things we don't like about it, and that's just how it is. But if you happen to share any of these unpopular opinions, let me know in the comments section below. And if you are new here and maybe enjoyed this video despite all of its saltiness, consider subscribing. I'm also on Twitch and Instagram and things like that. And I talk about other things like Zelda and How to Train Your Dragon and what else? Harry Potter. So if you want to see more videos like that, you can click over here and just check out all of my stuff. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching.